It's our day. And
It's our day.
motherhood is global.
Yes, amazing shirt. Perfect gear. Well, hello, BlogHer community. I'm Ai-jen Poo. I'm the director of the National Domestic Workers Alliance and Caring Across Generations. And I'm so excited about this conversation this entire day. We are really excited to be in conversation. I'm going to be with the incredible Debra Messing, activist, artist, actress extraordinaire who needs no introduction. Debra, hi.
Hi.
Happy International Women's Day.
And to you. Doesn't it feel good?
It does feel good.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I feel like every day is Women's Day for you. You are all about using your platform to lift up the incredible work and contributions of women, the challenges we overcome, the way that we make the impossible possible every day, every way. Maybe we could just dive in by having you share a little bit about what this day means to you personally.
I think that because I'm over 50, when I was coming up in my industry, there wasn't a lot of a feeling of sisterhood in my community at the time. It was very much competition, and there was sort of this narrative that women don't support each other and that there's not room for every woman. And wonderfully, that has changed over the decades. And, now we have our first multiracial vice president of the United States who's a woman, and I feel like I have been celebrating that fact since the day that she was sworn in. And I feel like, today is a day that we can look around the world, and even in this divisive time, say, regardless, we women are looking out for one another and we are one.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I also love the fact that this is a day when we get to just celebrate all of the amazing accomplishments that women have made all around the world. And so often for so long, our work has been undervalued, invisible, unseen. I think about all the caregivers and domestic workers that I work with every single day. I mean, they take care of our kids. They keep sanity in our lives as house cleaners. They take care of our grandparents and our parents. And yet a lot of times that work is invisible.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not compensated. And to me, this is a day to lift up their work and all of the invisible work that women do and celebrate it, cheer it, honor it, and figure out what we're going to do together to make sure that every single woman is valued and seen and uplifted.
Yeah. It seems that when there's crisis, it always seems to affect women in a way that feels like a step backwards from the progress that we've fought so hard for. And COVID is not an exception. What do you think is a contributing factor to that based on all of the research you've done over the last 12 months?
Well, I think we came into the pandemic with so many inequities. And what we saw is that women have been disproportionately concentrated in low-wage service jobs, some of which have been the hardest hit by the economic crisis that the pandemic catalyzed. And women have lost over 5 million jobs, disproportionately jobs held by women of color in particular. Women have been put into impossible situations, choosing between their livelihoods and the safety of their families. And that has really forced people out of the workforce. And so I just think we've been through an incredible amount, and it really reveals how unsustainable and dangerous, frankly, gender inequality is for all of us, right? And for our economy. And so as we look towards the next year and what we need to be doing to rebuild the economy, to recover from this crisis, we have to put women working women, women and their families front and center as we imagine the path forward. Don't you agree?
I do, and I think that that is something that I don't know if it's by design, but it seems like the connection between raising women up and economic growth for everyone, it doesn't seem like people understand the connection. You know, it wasn't until I started doing work as a global ambassador for Population Services International, a global health organization in sub-Saharan Africa, that I learned through them that the way to fix things is to always go to the women first. They were like, we have to help the women, we have to keep the women safe, we have to, you know, it's the women who are the center of the solution. And I think really that's what has to be learned and taken in and really taken to heart, so that it doesn't feel so threatening.
That's right. And there's so much opportunity in that realization. I mean, I feel like when you look at the world through the eyes of women, especially women at the bottom of the economy, you just kind of see the world more clearly. You see all of the challenges that we have to solve for so much more clearly. And therefore, when we actually start solving problems, we can be much more effective and impactful. Yeah. And I'm just thinking about, you know, traditionally when we think about recovery from economic crises, the immediate big word you hear a lot in Washington is the word infrastructure.
Yeah.
The truth is that women have been our default care infrastructure that is underneath the entire economy. If we don't have caregivers, if we don't have the nannies, the childcare workers, the home care workers supporting working families, the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
So we have to really think about the world and the recovery through the eyes of women so that we can secure the foundation and think about things like infrastructure differently. If we invest in caregiving infrastructure, imagine what we could build back better, maybe.
Yes, and that is why I was so involved in supporting the Biden campaign, because he specifically in his policy for women made it a top priority to highlight and support the caregivers in our world, and to give them more support, to get better pay, to give them sick leave, you know, all of the things that that they need and deserve, so that we all can be lifted up together.
That's right, exactly. And I know there's so many people in the BlogHer community who can identify with just the incredible stressors of caregiving through the pandemic, and what an incredible benefit it would be to have that be front and center as we think about recovery. It's a huge groundbreaker that we have a president, a caregiver in chief, who actually gets it.
Yes.
Now it's on us to really mobilize and make it real, which is, I think, one of the things that I'm really hopeful this Women's Day will catalyze, is all of our voices, all of our actions on trying to move this recovery forward for women.
I'm just very excited about the next year. Very, very optimistic. I have, you know, high hopes for us and for the progress.
What would you like to see? If we were fast forwarding a year to the next International Women's Day, what would you like to see different for women?
I would like in 1 year for us to gather again and to celebrate the ratification of the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment.
Wow.
I was just speaking with Carol Jenkins, who runs the ERA Coalition. And in 2023, it will be 100 years since we have started the effort to get equal protection under our Constitution. And we are the only industrial nation in the world that does not have protections for women permanently as part of their Constitution. And we are one of 26 that don't. We are so far behind. And I feel like now this is the time. This is the time that this can happen. We have the 38 states, and it's all of it is a matter of us going in and getting all of our members of Congress to say, you know, this deadline that has passed, it's arbitrary. Let's extend the deadline, and then finally we can look at our daughters and imagine our grandchildren and generations to come knowing that they are protected under the law in the same exact way as a man.
That is so beautiful and so possible now. Isn't
Yes.
that amazing?
Yes.
The fact that we could look back and move from being way behind to actually a leader on gender equality, a leader on caregiving infrastructure, a leader on care jobs. I mean, all of this is possible now. It's incredible. Thanks to our votes,
Yes.
our voices, our activism. It really, really matters.
I mean, that's why we're here, really. That's why it's all possible. It's because of the work, the organizing work on the ground of predominantly Black and brown women all across the nation. You know, it was Black women in Georgia,
yes,
who delivered us these two extraordinary new senators and flipped the state and gave us the Senate. And you know, I have considered myself someone sort of curious and in the know, and I, until this last year, did not really understand the breadth of that that support and that I mean, we owe a debt of gratitude that we can never really fulfill.
Well, we can definitely honor it.
Yes.
By continuing to organize and mobilize. Yes, shout out to all the incredible Black women organizers and voters in Georgia.
And volunteers.
And volunteers and grassroots donors, everyone who really showed up this year. And as we get to the end of our time, Debra, I could talk to you all day, but we only have a couple minutes left. Do you want to share a couple of words of wisdom from your own experience to the BlogHer community as a woman? How do we stay powerful this year?
Wow. Well, first, I just want to tell the BlogHer community that I am so grateful to be here with you and celebrating with you, and that you are out there and you're loud and proud. I think it's very simple. I think that it's just a matter of always looking for opportunities to lift up other women. It's really as simple as that, because we're either lifting people up, or by doing nothing, we're allowing regression. And so to every day, just realize that we all are responsible for one another. We really are sisters in this fight. And I think now we have the power and we have the coalition and the unity to finally make the in so many generations.
Beautiful. And I would just add on to that by saying that this very moment, as Congress is going to be discussing how we recover from this crisis and how women will or won't be included in that vision, they need to hear from you. So if you can pick up the phone and tell them that caregiving matters to you, that the Equal Rights Amendment matters to you, and that you expect them. They work for you. You expect them to deliver for women.
That's right.
That is what it will take right here, right now.
They work for us. And I think that reminding them, and I think that this past election was a wake-up call. I think a lot of people were surprised. And it was the increase of women coming out and making their voices heard that was the difference. And so don't wait for an election day to make your voice heard. Every day you can send an email or call the hotline and leave a message or fax and send your message. And I promise you, they read them and it matters.
It really matters. So let this International Women's Day be a day that we recommit to taking action and supporting and lifting each other up. And Debra and I want to lift all of you up and celebrate you and honor you today. Thanks for everything that you're already doing, and let's win.
Amen.